Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished Manchester United 2, Brentford 1. And if you turn off your TV or your laptop, wherever you're watching this, and you just after about 90 minutes, you thought this is done, this is over. I thought it was done, it was over. I was kind of like already just starting to plan and prepare to get this show ready. I wanted to get this up and running, and I'm just checked out. And suddenly, if you saw at the end of the game, you're wondering is what has happened, because it's 2-1, and Brentford led 1-0 for so long, and they defended really well. I've got to say, Brentford were absolutely good value for what should have been a victory for them. I thought they tactically they were spot on. I thought Thomas Frank got everything right up till the 90th minute. He got everything right in this game. He knew exactly the game plan that he wanted to approach this game with. He knew exactly what he wanted to do to Manchester United, and he knew exactly what the weak points were for Manchester United. I thought it was amazing the way that Brentford approached this game for 90 minutes. The way that they approached this game was absolutely perfect. But then things change. But before we get to that, because let's just talk about that, because I want to talk about positives and negatives. And this kind of result, sometimes it masks the negatives, and I'm sure it will in many ways. But there are lots of things that we need to discuss and we need to talk about. I think we'll talk about the 2 goals though that was scored. Now, 92nd minute. Just before that, a little bit before that, Martial, Manchester United had the ball in the back of the net. It was a good cross that came in, and Martial was offside, and for some reason he decided to touch it. He should have probably let it go, because even if he didn't touch it, somebody might have got, when the ball goes in like that, you always wonder what's going to happen. But his touch was decisive. It was offside. But that was a warning shot for Brentford, because I thought that was the first time where they looked a little bit ragged. They looked like, okay, this is getting to crunch time. You could tell that there was maybe a bit of fatigue coming in. I don't know if Frank could have changed something at that point, but that was a warning shot. And then the goal came. The first goal came from Manchester United. It was, ultimately it's just it's Garnacho with the ball, and when he's on the ball, things happen. There's something about him that just makes things happen, and it was a run. It was a kind of a hopeful run that we've seen quite a lot from a lot of players in this game. But Garnacho had the run. He pulls the ball back. It's a shot from the edge of the box. I think Strakosha should save that. And not only save, I think you should either hold on to it, or you should make sure that he's padding it away from the goal. But the way he saves it, he pushes it back into the danger area. McTominay's first touch, absolutely brilliant. It's just brilliant. And then the shot is a good one, and it's 1-1. And I just had a feeling at that point, if it goes 1-1, normally I normally think of games, even I was saying around the 80th, I think it was on the 70th minute, I said even if United get a goal here, it doesn't mean they're going to win, because you still fancy Brentford to win it, to go on and get that second goal to win it. But just the timing of that Scott McTominay goal, and just the feeling, the energy around the stadium made you feel if there was going to be a winner in that game, it was going to be Manchester United. There was no way Brentford were going to win this from that position. Even though Bruno tried with that stupid throw-in that he put in, but still was 1-1. They get a free kick. I think it was a handball, wasn't it? It was a handball that was, again, a little bit lucky, but it's a beautiful, it's a good ball in from Bruno Fernandes. Not anything special. It's a good ball in. But guess who gets the assist? Who gets his head onto it? It's Harry Maguire, a player who never gets heads on anything. There's somebody who should be doing this a lot more. He gets his head on the ball, and the man might be lost in all the delirium, but he gets an assist because he got his head on the ball. Scott McTominay did very well, because Ethan Pinnock, I thought, was man of the match up to that point throughout this game. I think he was man of the match, the way that he had played for 90 minutes. Again, absolutely imperious, well done. But this one time he gets bullied up the ball by Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay gets ahead of him, and he puts a good header towards the goal. I still think Strakosha should have saved that as well. I don't think it's, yes, it's a bit close to him, and he's got to, adjust his body, but I feel like he could have put a little bit more in that save, because he gets his hand to it. So really, the question is, you want to make sure you get a lot more power onto it so you can parry it away. But I just think that sometimes luck goes your way. Sometimes when you've got that positive karma behind you, it just follows you all the way through. Scott McTominay, one of those. If he had bought a lottery today, he probably would have been a millionaire or a billionaire, because I think that was just his day today. He got 2 goals, and it's 2-1. It's a massive win for Manchester United. It's a much needed win for Manchester United, for Erik ten Hag, because I'm pretty sure, and I'm one of them. I was already ready to write, not necessarily write obituaries, but I think I was ready to start thinking about what exactly needs to change, because things need to change in Manchester United. It was, they were heading for 4 home defeats in a row. That's not something you want as a manager. No matter how much you like the manager, that's something you cannot really accept as a fan. There probably would have been some obituaries written as well about Erik ten Hag. So a lot would have happened, but I think the narrative will now switch, because they've won this game, and they've won it in such dramatic fashion that it just lifts the mood up of the team as a whole, doesn't it? But that's something that Manchester United have done. They have been, the wins, the two wins that they had, the Nottingham Forest win, the Burnley win as well, and even this one, they've all been very dramatic. They haven't been straightforward routine wins, which is what they should be. But for some reason, United are trying to make things harder for themselves, doing that. But I'll come back to the positives. I think but we'll start with the negative, because they were 1-0 down for a long period of this game. They conceded a goal. I mean, what a shitty goal to concede as well from Manchester United's point of view. I mean, Casemiro gives the ball away. He is becoming, his goals have masked the fact that he has been very average since the season has started. I don't think he's been very good. His job is not to score goals. If he scores goals, it's a bonus. His job really is to hold that midfield together. His job is really to bind that midfield together, to make sure that nobody gets to make sure that players don't run off of him. Yes, he hasn't had good support, and you could say that, but today he had Amrabat next to him, so he has no excuses for being lazy and putting in a pass like he put. And it was right of Erik ten Hag to take him off at halftime. No complaints about that, but that pass is such a bad pass. It's a shitty pass that he puts through. And then even after that, United have enough time to clear it out. I mean, Lindelof, I don't know what he's trying to do there in clearing that out. So desperate, so panicky. Like, he's not got a lot of pressure. Like, when you look at that fact that he's got not necessarily time, but he has got. It's not like somebody's ganging up on him and trying to push him. He's in a good position from where he can put a good clearance, but it's just this panic and lack of confidence in that team at the moment that he just shanks his clearance straight to a Brentford player. It comes to Jensen. Jensen's shot should be safe. That's not a good shot. It should be safe. And Onana he can't seem to do anything right at the moment when it comes to goal saving. There's literally nothing he could do. He did make a couple of good saves towards in the second half, so maybe there's some hope there for him. But that save in that first half is just so terrible, and it goes squirms under him. That's his luck at the moment. It's 1-0, and you would have thought that they would have lost that game. But before Scott McTominay rescued the team, and Scott McTominay take a bow. I mean, man of the match for me. I mean, you can't get more than that. Yes, he didn't play. He only played 10 minutes, but the impact that he made in those 10 minutes is just unbelievable. And I thought, he was a difference maker. And I think, and I could see why Ten Hag put him on. A lot of people might have gone, why is he coming on for Amrabat? What does he offer? I thought it was a good decision, because they were going to put balls in the box. They needed people to win headers, and I think Scott McTominay has got the height. So, he's someone who could win headers and someone who's got that goal-scoring instinct as a midfielder. So, if the ball drops to him somewhere in the box, something could happen. It felt like a desperate throw the dice, but it was a calculated, desperate move. Like, it wasn't a kind of move where you go, I've got nothing else, go throw this guy on and maybe he'll get something. No, it was like, yeah, throw this guy on because he might make something happen because he's got the attributes to make it happen. So I thought that was a calculated move from Erik ten Hag. Desperate move, but still a calculated move of desperation, and it worked out for him today, and he got that victory. But I mean, Onana, for me, again, go back to Onana should be dropped. I don't think he should start the next game. Yes, he got a couple of good saves in the second half, but really the fact is that he's at the moment a walking liability as far as Manchester United are concerned. The problem is United have won the game, so maybe Ten Hag will go, right, I don't want to change this. I don't want to change my goalkeeper now that we won a game, but the spotlight has to be there. He's got to be taken off. And he's got to, you sign Binder. The fact is that Onana is going to be missing for a month in January with the AFCON anyway. So you're going to have to play Binder at some point. So you might as well, with Onana playing so badly now, you might as well give Binder a go to see if he's good enough. Because if he's not, and you need to do something about the goalkeeper situation, you have some idea of how he is, because otherwise you're flying in blind in January anyway. So I would take Onana off. I think he needs to be dropped. And I think Binder needs to come in and play the next couple of games, at least the next few games. I wouldn't start Onana until probably the game week 6 of the Champions League, when it's decided where United are going to be. What that game, because that game is going to be a write-off anyway, so you might as well start in there maybe. But until then, I would like to see Binder start a few games. Depending if Binder is worse than Onana, then you don't have a choice to go back to Onana. But I would give Binder a go. That would be one thing. I think Casemiro needs to be dropped for the next game. He can't play in the Champions League anyway, so you probably take him off and try a different midfield combination. I would want to see that happen. The problem is who plays. It can't be Bruno and Amrabat. That is just an accident waiting to happen. But I think something is, maybe Eriksen comes in, because I think Eriksen has looked good. The last 2 games he's come on at halftime and he's looked pretty okay. He looked good. I mean, it's hard for him to look worse than all the players at the moment. Like, the bar is so low, but something's got to change. I don't think Casemiro should be starting the next game. I think Rashford should definitely be dropped for the next game. I don't think he deserves to start. You look so listless, so bad. It's one thing to play badly, and I get that. Players will have good games, players will have bad games. I don't think Hojlund had a good game today, right? But he tried hard. You want the minimum you expect is somebody to try hard. Now that shouldn't be the reason why somebody starts, but you have to try hard every time you're on the pitch. You have to give it your all every time you're on the pitch. Rashford just looks like a player who doesn't want to do that. He's almost like he's protecting himself. You see when he has the ball, he'll try and dribble, he'll try and make runs, he'll try and make passes, he'll do all that. As soon as he loses the ball, he's like, okay. Well, he's jogging back, right? Jogging back and then waiting for the ball to come to him. I'm sorry, Marcus Rashford, you're not Cristiano Ronaldo, you're not Neymar, you're not Mbappe. You don't, even those players should not get that kind of privilege, but you're never nowhere near even asking for that kind of privilege. So I'm sorry that you think like that, but you're not that good of a player. And he needs to go and he needs to be dropped. And to be honest, Garnacho looks good when he came in. He looked good when he came on. He looked like he wanted this. He looked full of energy, and he played a big part in that first goal. So he's got to be the one to start. I think he needs to start that next game. Yes, he might have a bad game. Yes, Garnacho might not be good enough, but we will not know until we play him. And I think Ten Hag has got to draw a line in the sand. In some ways, I wanted this game to be sort of his line in the sand moment where he goes, right, these are the players that are going to be with me going forward, and these players are going to have to drop. I'm going to have to drop them, and I'm going to have to force them to fight for their place. And I think Rashford has to be one of them. I think Onana has to be another one of them. Casemiro has to be one of them as well. And I mean, the other one, and this is going to be controversial, but I think Bruno's got to be one of them as well. Because again, I thought Bruno, yes, he played a part in that second goal. And yes, he's playing out of position at number 10 at right wing, but actually he played a lot of that second half as number 10. He didn't look good in that game. He didn't look good in this game at all. I thought Mount looked slightly better. The thing about Mount and Bruno is that Mount at least has a lot of energy. And I do believe that I just feel that Mount brings better balance to that midfield than Bruno does at the moment. Bruno just is someone who's very, I almost feel like Bruno is too much all action at this point of time, and that's something I loved about him. But the fact is, he's too much all action at this moment, and he needs to just calm down a little bit, figure out what he wants to do. I don't think Bruno will be dropped, but I would like to see Bruno being dropped because I just feel that he needs to be he needs a break for himself. He needs to be basically protected from himself at this moment in time because he's just too hyper, too over energetic, and I think that doesn't help. Doesn't help situations at times, and I think at times it doesn't help his own game as well. I think he was poor today, and I would definitely take him off and drop him. But I don't know. I don't think Ten Hag will do that. I don't think most, and I'm sure many fans will not agree with me on that. But I just feel that. But Scott McTominay, we got to talk about Scott McTominay. What a fantastic 2 goals from him, and came on, made a difference. Should he start the next game? I do think a midfield of Amrabat, McTominay, and Mount could work. I think it could work. I still think the thing about McTominay is that he's got I almost feel like he's somewhere in between. He's not a proper number 10 because he can't really pass the ball well. He's not a good box-to-box midfielder because he's not a good CDM, definitely. He's not a good box-to-box midfielder either because I feel like his defensive awareness is a little bit lacking. So while he's good going forward, he doesn't provide the adequate amount of support that's needed going backward. So at this moment in time, I don't know where he fits in. I don't think he fits in anywhere for Manchester United. Unless you play a 4-1-2-1-2, then maybe you can play him as your 4th midfielder. But that would be too risky. Like they've tried that and it doesn't work. It doesn't work either. So I think for him, super sub is fine. It was his day, right? He's had a poor season anyway, but it was his day today, and he got 2 good goals. That deserves some game time going forward. I think he should definitely play a bigger role in the next game. Maybe not start, but maybe get more minutes as a sub in the next games to come. But I know people might call for him to start, but I don't think he should start. But it's just a weird limbo because he doesn't have a fixed defined position. I think his best position probably, if you ask me, is as a second striker. But teams don't play us with the second striker at the moment. But that's his best position. Someone who can play the second striker, someone who doesn't have the burden of being the sole goal scorer, but who can make late runs in the box and get you goals. Or maybe somebody who's thrown on in the last 20 minutes when you need a goal, you throw him on and you hope that he can score you a goal. That's I think his best position at the moment. But otherwise, up is down, down is up. With Lindelof got an injury, I think, played left back. Got injured, and it looks like aside from Amrabat, anybody who plays at left back gets injured, and I think Lindelof, that's so weird, isn't it? Harry Maguire had a game where he wasn't the worst defender on the pitch. Again, that's a surprise as well. So it was a very weird topsy-turvy game, but ultimately it's 3 points for Manchester United, 3 points that they desperately needed. I don't think it gives a roadmap for the future because if you look at the last 10 minutes, it was basically just throw everyone on and find something, right? It wasn't some kind of great intricate play that got them, the goals. It was really errors from Brentford in some ways. It was basically just, throw everything at the wall and see what sticks kind of approach. That's not going to win them a lot of games. So Ten Hag is going to have to improve, massively in his team selections, and I think the team needs to improve a lot. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. But at this moment in time, they need the 3 points wherever they can get them. And that's just the thing. They need 3 points wherever they can get them. So it's 3 points. Enjoy that. And Anyway, smash the like if Scott McTominay was your man of the match. He's my man of the match. I would have given it to Pinnock actually. I think I would. It's between Pinnock and Scott McTominay. But I think I'll give it to Scott McTominay because somebody who scores 2 goals in 10 minutes deserves to get a man of the match. So for me, that's Scott McTominay. But share in the comments if you use Ethan Pinnock. Mention that in the comments. Obviously, love to hear that and share the thoughts as well in the game. Maybe you think there's something I said that you don't agree with. Maybe there's something you do agree with. Mention that in the comments. Absolutely here to hear your thoughts on the game. Well done to Manchester United. Do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We always appreciate your support. Got a few more match reaction videos coming today, so please subscribe so you can get notified as they drop. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.